Welcome, 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 Malachi News Network. And boy, I have another video for you. This is a video of Meet the Press host Chuck Todd having a conversation with Senator Ron Johnson. And it really gets really heated in this conversation. He catches him on the spot with regards to the election fraud and conspiracy theories. Check this out.
Back to Meet the Press. So I want to start with this. Last month, you told a newspaper in your home state that you would not object to the Electoral College certification, quote, unless something surfaced. There have been 57 cases filed by the president or his allies. Not a single court has found a single instance of fraud or any of this evidence seen as legitimate. So what has changed to suddenly put you on the side of questioning the results of this election, sir?
Well, good morning, Chuck, and Happy New Year. Let me first respond on COVID. I think our greatest failure in responding to COVID is we've completely ignored early treatment. And we've actually vilified doctors that have had the courage to practice medicine and treat patients with widely available repurposed drugs. So I just have to point that out. We've utterly failed from that standpoint. To answer your question, I would ask that all your listeners, ask our critics to actually read the letter. One of the points we make is that we are not acting to thwart the democratic process, we're acting to protect it. The fact of the matter is that we have an unsustainable state of affairs in this country where we have tens of millions of people that do not view this election result as legitimate. We've just come off of 4 years where the other side refused to acknowledge the legitimacy of President Trump. And here we are again. And what we're saying is we need transparency. And you do not, when you're trying to investigate wrongdoing in elections, you don't have very much time. And so what we're suggesting is let's set up a commission as they did. I know it's a long time ago, 1877, but let's take a look at a bipartisan commission to organize all the allegations. Certainly what I did in my hearing is a 3.5-hour hearing. We barely scratched the surface, but organize the allegations. Let's take off the table the ones that have been explained, but also acknowledge the problem areas that have not been explained so that we can restore confidence in our election system. This is an unsustainable state of affairs right now. Yeah. And that's all we're saying is as long as somebody's going to be objecting to this and we're going to be taking a vote, let's propose a solution.
Here's where it gets heated.
In terms of transparency, investigation with the commission.
All right, Senator, I want to quote Senator Ben Sasse for you, because what you're alleging is essentially you and your colleagues have created this controversy. So right now we are locked into a destructive, vicious circle in some ways, as you kind of outlined, which is you made an allegation that there was widespread fraud. You have failed to offer specific evidence of that widespread fraud, but you're demanding an investigation on the grounds that there are allegations of widespread fraud. So essentially, you're the arsonist here. President Trump is the arsonist here. You've started this fire, and now you're saying, whoa, look at this. Oh, my God. All these people believe what we told them because you didn't have the guts to tell the truth that this election was fair.
Chuck, this fire was started back in January of 2017. People like Mark Zaid, in his tweet, the coup has started, first of many steps, rebellion and impeachment to follow ultimately. This was started when the mainstream media dropped any pretense of being unbiased and actually chose sides during this election. This fire was started when you completely ignored, for example, our investigation of Hunter Biden. No evidence of wrongdoing there, and now we find out after the election, no, there is a fair amount of evidence to the point that we have a real FBI investigation.
Senator,
so
all right, I've had enough of hearing this.
Listen, I've had enough of this too.
No, Senator, it is.
That has created a situation where Republicans and conservatives do not trust the mainstream media, and that is what has destroyed the credibility of the media and our institutions, and really
the destruction
shaken confidence in
the
election result. So I didn't start this.
Listen, you have spent, and I'm just curious, Senator, you have spent much of your time in the last 2 years carrying a lot of this crazy conspiratorial water for President Trump, whether it was the attempt to somehow blame Ukraine for the interference in the election rather than Russia. You've used your committee to sort of create the illusion of voter fraud, as you just described earlier, because they're, quote, allegations.
He's buzzing.
I'm just trying to understand here, what are you doing it for? You're not trying to overturn the election. You just said, Are you simply trying to curry favor with constituents of the president? Is that what this is all about? Is this a cynical political ploy?
I'm trying to be transparent. You know, one of the things we found out in our hearing is, you know, the basic allegations kind of fall into three categories. I would say the first is the either violation of or lax enforcement of election law.
I don't know what I did. I messed up. I messed up. But let me come back on the screen. Oh, let me come back on the screen. Okay, I messed up some kind of way. I hit the video button. But he's lying. He's lying. He's doing this because he's trying to protect his self-interest. Because all the Trump voters, there are a lot of them, and he is trying to protect his future with his run for Senate as an incumbent for the next election that comes around, so that he can maintain all the Trump supporters in Wisconsin, so that he can secure another term. Okay. And that's all this is about. He knows that there's no election fraud. He has no proof of that, but he wants to go on the record that I'm standing with Donald Trump, okay? And that's what the rest of those people are doing. They're not about the people. They're not about protecting the rights of Americans. They're about their own self-interest. Mitch McConnell proved that by shooting down the 2000 stimulus $2,000 stimulus check per individual, okay, without even any consideration. So they are only concerned about their own self-interest. Those of you that think Republicans is for the American people is neither a Republican nor Democrat. You have to check these politicians, and you have to follow them all the way to the end, because just because they get in office does not mean that they're going to work in your favor. You have to keep your foot on their neck for them to do what they're supposed to do. With that said, since I messed the video up, I'm gonna leave a link where you can watch the whole video. Shalom.